Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, good afternoon, and also good morning. Amber Hawkins, your computer niece of Toledo, LLC, celebrating year number 15 of computer training and more that comes to you. Make sure you visit the website, yourcomputerniece.net. If you have any questions, call or text 419-304-4564, or you can message me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Periscope, and also Instagram. My apologies for the lateness, had some difficulties to handle, and the device I was going to use to do this wasn't working out, so I had to grab something else real quick. But I said, everything must go on. But I do thank you for your patience. Spread the word. Make sure you share this video. And I also want to let you know, anything I show here, you can purchase it from the YCN OT LLC online computers and accessory store. The link is right there. Individually, anything that I show will be listed individually on the company's YouTube channel. The link is in the description. Make sure you subscribe there. I had the question with this topic matter for today, which is your equipment. Still trying to make sure the information is out for those who are finding themselves transitioning from what they're used to what's going on right now as far as working at home, the remote lifestyle, or working remotely at a different location for whatever the reason may be. So what I'm going to do is just show a few things, do a couple of quick demos, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I probably won't be able to see any comments coming through, but I will address them after I'm finished. So as you can see, I have something right here, and I know people are looking like, okay, what does she have? This is one of these gaming headphones that for some people, this is their business right here. So I wanted to show that on the online computers and accessory store, yes, you are able to purchase this. In addition to this, this is a device that honestly can be used as part of your work at home or remote equipment. It's going to depend on, if you are an employee, what the policies and the procedures are from your workplace. So make sure you double check that, number one. Number two, you will also need to double check as far as any equipment that you have. This one I can't necessarily display because it's in maintenance mode and it's still going through the maintenance process, meaning it was about that time to perform maintenance, which I suggest will be dependent upon how often you use laptops similar to these. So if you are a person like myself who uses the laptop a lot, I would suggest no minimum than weekly maintenance. Maintenance will sound like a big word, but I'm just talking about as far as simply cleaning the screen and cleaning the keyboards. I'm going to demonstrate a few maintenance tips tomorrow at 11:30. I'm going to make sure I'm on time next time for that one, and I'll make sure to work out the technical kinks or whatever before then. So I want to let you know that ahead of time, but I'll do a quick demonstrations as far as computer maintenance tomorrow, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you spread the word about that. The other thing I want to mention as far as policies and procedures, I'm taking it from employee to also if you are a small business owner, what you need as far as being able to function how you function. Now, there are a lot of business owners and a lot of employees who already have been used to working at home or from home. They just have to make adjustments because it's an increase in doing that now. Before I even show some of the things that you'll need to consider as far as what you'll need as far as working from home, I want to mention again the difference between work at home and work from home. You will have probably many advertisements now saying working from home, which they're going to be that way, but I want to make sure there's clarity as far as that's concerned. When you're working at home, you are here in your home environment, at the table or using whatever you can use, probably a tray in a small area of your house, maybe a room in your house, or wherever your remote space is, as long as there are safety guidelines followed to a particular area in your house or your remote place. So you are stationary. You might have to go out, every now and then, but you're mainly stationary at home. So that's working at home. Working from home. If you're working from home, usually you're gathering what you need to, let's say I need to take this for instance. You need to gather and you're getting ready to make the final preparations or the needed preparations to do what you need to do before you leave. So you are gathering what you need to gather and you're leaving. And don't worry, I'm coming back. So you're working from home. The advertisements, a lot of them are going to say work at home, but the majority of them lately, from what I've seen, is working from home. They're usually meaning at. Nevertheless, I still would ask questions, because their working from home can literally be gathering what you need to gather to perform the necessary task and then leaving to perform that task. Or is working from home, according to them, really you're stationary at home. So make sure you ask questions and get the clarity needed as far as that is concerned. Before I continue on, actually I'm going to come around, I'm going to see if there are any so I can address them. Thank you for tuning in, greatly appreciate it. Again, anybody who is tuning in, please make sure you share the video, because I want to get all the information out necessary so that people can be helped in understanding what's needed, or at least have a clearer idea of what they need to be able to have the equipment to work from home. All right, let me start off. Well, actually, I already started off with this gaming headset that you see here. Depending on the situation and if it's allowed, you'll have some work at home or remote opportunities in which they usually say landline phones, where you have the opportunity to use your cell phone. Even some, an older model such as this, or this one is a newer model compared to this one, similar to this or even higher. I want to mention And I usually say, if you have an older smartphone or even flip phone, 9.99999 times out of 10, those phones will not be useful as far as working from home. If your older phone has a functionality to where you can use a headset similar to this and be able to plug this in, you have the smartphone plan necessary, unlimited calls preferably, and you're able to perform the necessary task. Oh, take all into consideration that many older smartphones will still have been, I've had a lot of calls and also a lot of emails from people who, and I don't mean to offend anyone, let me make that perfectly clear, who felt offended about me mentioning older smartphones. I am trying to make sure that not only you're updated, but you're more also prepared, because there is going to come a time when you need to get rid of those older smartphones, because they really won't be able to be of any usage, and with some remote and work at home tasks, they're not going to be capable of handling the newer technologies even to upgrade them. So they're going to be past their lifetime. But be aware of that. If you're still able to use your older smartphones, fine, but it's going to come soon. Sometimes less than a month or a couple months where you'll need to switch phones. So I wanted to make sure to address that. So again, you will be able to, if you're able to use your smartphones, older ones, preferably more up-to-date ones, you'll be able to do so, and whatever information is provided to you to make the necessary calls for your task for those who are employees, you're able to do so, if it's allowed in the policies and procedures. If you're an independent contractor, freelancer, side gig enthusiast, and you're able to use a phone like this with the with a plan, I'm trying to say, with a smartphone plan that will help you out, then by all means make sure to use it to its best functionality. You need to think about, and I'm coming over here for a moment, if you are out and about, you will need to have a battery charger. This is how it looks if it's full. An example of one. If it's like down to, I don't know how clearly you can see this, if it's down to like one light that you can see here, it's time to hurry and charge it. Here's an example of another battery charger. Let's see. Well, this one's at, I don't know if you can see here, about 10%, so it's going to need to be charged soon. But if you're out and about and you need to have a battery charger, you have to make sure not only do you have the charger and your phone, but also, excuse me, let me give an example of a cord right here like this. Make sure it's a cord that is for your phone. These phones right here, these are Android phones. So this is not going to fit on an iPhone. So if you have an iPhone, you need to get the equipment for your iPhone or your iPad or whatever you have. And those are also available on the online computers and accessories store. The link, as I mentioned before, is in the description. I'm demonstrating this and other things because there are people who do not know, but I want you to have an idea of what to do. You will need to, when you're charging your phone, I'm going to use this as an example. You'll need to make sure it's on, number one, and fully charged. Now this one's at 10%, so I will need to charge it soon. But for demonstration purposes, I'm going to use this. Number two, make sure you put this into the USB slot, which is right there. And make sure it fits. And then, whichever phone you're using, make sure you plug it in where it's supposed to be. See, it turned off again. And as you can see here, it's showing you that it's charging right now. The same thing as far as if you're using this particular battery charger. So if you're out and about, or if you're stationary at home and you're noticing that with the usage of your smartphone that the battery is going down, make sure you have a battery charger nearby. I want to get to the headsets and headphones quickly. If you see something that pertains to noise cancellation, they're usually talking about any headsets or headphones that can help reduce the impact of background noises. It's not necessarily canceling out altogether, but it's reducing how much background noise you hear compared to if you don't have anything at all. So clarity as far as noise cancellation is concerned. What is not noise cancellation are headphones, earbuds, or whatever like this. And if you're going to use something like this, this would be like for personal use only, not really for work at home. But the decision is up to you. And the thing, you need to have protection for your ears. In time, as you continue wearing these, if you do wear these, if you notice there isn't necessarily any protection, any cushion, like this right here, or similar to this right here. So be aware of that. So if you do use these, don't use them for long periods of time. Another example of noise cancellation are wireless ones such as these. I'm probably going to mess up my hair, but let me show for those who don't have experience in using these. Give me just a moment. Okay. Again, this is to help reduce the noise. What you'll need to do is make sure this part back here goes behind you, behind your neck, right here. And you will then be able to position where these go. So for the right ear, put this part on the back of the ear. And for the left ear, put this part behind the ear, so it can be positioned for usage. And if you notice, it's not as heavy on me. I mean, this has some weight. It's not a lot of weight, but it does have some weight compared to this. These are lighter and kind of hidden unless you move your hair back or anything. And if you notice, you're, keep this with me, you're more hands-free. Not saying you're not hands-free with this, but you're more hands-free, and it's a lot lighter. So if there are those who probably, for whatever reason, this is too bulky and heavy for you, I would suggest getting these. Usually the on-off button would be located on the right side, and what you would need to do is push it on button once and turn it on. And then if you need to turn it off, push the button again, and you probably, in this case, will need to hold it down to turn it off. So, and then when you're finished using it, you can take it off from behind your neck. I'm going to go ahead and put this one back on for demonstration purposes. The next thing I will need to show you is, you might need to have something to hold your cell phone, because you don't want to be holding your cell phone all day or almost all night unless you have to. So if you need to rest your hands or arms or something like that, you can place the cell phone, make sure I don't drop it, and it will hold your phone. You can even adjust how high or low you want your smartphone holder. You can hold it portrait. This will be considered portrait right here. Or you can hold it landscape. And this is landscape right here. So for those of you who need clarity, when they say hold the phone vertically or in portrait, this is what they're talking about. Holding the phone horizontally or landscape, this is what they're talking about right here. So you'll be able to do that. Let me put this back here. What I'm using to do this live is a tripod. I'll have the link to that on the company's YouTube channel. But the tripod, depending on your remote situation, if you are in need of one or if you have to use one, they come in different variations, different shapes, different sizes. I would, along with the purchase of a tripod or anything that I'm demonstrating here, for those who know me, that one W word I'm going to say, have the warranty for them, because you never know what can happen, the wonders of technology, and to have something extra just in case anything happens. This right here is a phone holder for a tripod. Let me bring it up a little closer in case, hope everybody's able to see that. In case anything happens, at least you have something extra. See, I can't find the other one. I'm going to try to get it later. Your different adapters for your cords. They're not all going to be the same. They're going to come in different shapes and sizes. Here's an example of a couple of them that, in case for whatever reason you need to replace an adapter. Here's an example of one right here. And also, here's an example of another one right here. Now, these are compatible if you have an Android phone, if you have an iPhone, if you have an iPad, if you have a tablet or whatever device that you have. Make sure you have these. Sometimes you're going to need one just this length. There could be times you're going to need one this length. You're going to have to get the one that fits your phone. As you can see by the shape of this, it's not going to be able to fit on this phone nor on this phone. So when you purchase these, make sure, and by the way, this is an extra one because it was what I needed at the time. And as you can see, it stretches pretty long right here. Make sure you are getting the one that's for your smartphone or for your device. So just to show a difference of what they look like. Again, here is an example of a smartphone cord, or depending on your device, a tablet cord. Here is an example of another one right here, so you can see. So let me put this back. With the outbreak of the coronavirus, or what's commonly called COVID-19, just to let you know, yes, you can buy hand sanitizers. This will be to carry with you to put on your keys and everything, or just to have around personally for yourself in case you need it. So make sure you have plenty of hand sanitizers, wherever they're available. Another device you'll need if you are finding it where you don't have enough room on your laptops or whatever, and you need to go where you need to go safely. I'm going to emphasize safely. I talk about thumb drives and I talk about jump drives. There are questions, and I still get questions on what do you mean by a thumb drive or a jump drive. This is what I mean. Let me show it over here. Hope everybody can see when I say a thumb drive or a jump drive. What you will do, and I'll demonstrate it on this laptop right here. See, I have to take the plug out real quick. You're going to, on your laptop, you're going to take the cover off, and where you see a USB slot, this is where you're going to, I'll say, plug it in. So for this particular laptop, which is available on the online store, I don't see actually a USB, oh wait, yes I do, a USB slot. This particular laptop has a couple over here and, let's see, a couple over here. So since I'm on this side, wherever there is an available USB slot, you would plug this in to one of the slots correctly, or wherever it will fit. There we go. And I don't have this laptop on, but what would happen would be there would be a light showing that it is functioning. And this would be considered an additional drive because you are saving files, pictures. In some cases, you can save videos if there is enough room on your thumb drive or your jump drive, and if it's a large enough thumb drive or jump drive. This particular one, I wouldn't have any room to put any videos because it's not a large enough thumb drive. I would have to have one that probably would be no less than 256 GB or gigabyte. So if you see GB, that means gigabyte. That is, I would say, in my professional opinion, and you will have varied answers from other professionals. Minimum, if you are doing pictures, audio, video, at least no less than that. And even at that point, you will get messages saying there's not enough room. So I want you to have that in the back of your mind. This you'll be using again to save all the necessary files that you need to keep personally, and follow the directions as far as removing your thumb drive from your laptop. Now, I would be doing this incorrectly, like just pulling it out, but you don't want to damage your device either. So let me put this back. Although it's not on, I would tap on the keys or use the mouse right here for this particular laptop to follow the directions to remove it. And as soon as I see the message saying to, it's okay to safely remove, then go ahead and carefully pull this out. And then you can place the cover back on your thumb drive or your jump drive, and then do what you need to do. You can carry it in your pocket or whatever you use. Just be careful with it, or what's best for me, you keep it more personal. This is another example of a thumb drive or jump drive. Have it as part of your key set. The modem or router. There are those who have questions about that. This is just an example of one, a router or a modem for your internet plans, for your internet usage. So you'll definitely need this. Whoever your internet service provider is, usually as part of the cost, this would be included. There are people who would get their own and probably get a reduced price on their internet plans. If you're able to do that, check your internet service provider as far as that is concerned. I want to explain and demonstrate the term hardwired. There are people who have difficulty understanding that term. When you are given direction as far as the work that you need to do, you need to be hardwired, or you need to be wired. Whether you are in the capacity of an employee or you're the small business owner, freelancer, side gig enthusiast, solopreneur, independent contractor, those who do it because they're trying to get back into the world of entrepreneurism full-time, or there are those who do it on an occasion basis, part-time, or however the case may be. This is what they're talking about. Before I go on, actually, excuse me, I want to see if there are any more comments. Oh, nope, no more comments. Okay. Just want to double check to make sure. What they're talking about is you need to have what's called an Ethernet cord. So let me get that real quick in just a moment. I'm also going to show if you are in a situation where your Ethernet cord is not long enough. There are opportunities in which you just have to be wireless, and that's fine. But this is for those who are going for opportunities or going for jobs, and they say that you need to be hardwired or wired. And I'm almost done untangling myself, so one more moment. And here we go. This is an example of an Ethernet cord. This one, tangled one right here, this one is about 50 inches. And I do have another one. This other one is, no, did I say 50 inches? 50 feet, I'm sorry. This one's 50 feet, I'm sorry. My apologies. This one's 75 feet. So when you add them together, you have a pretty nice long Ethernet cord. In some instances, you're going to need longer than that. There are corporations, non-for-profits, faith-based organizations, small businesses that really need to have, let's say, longer than this, let's say 1,000 feet. Those length Ethernet cords are also available on the online computers and accessories store. Now, what if you are in a situation, your home, your place that you work remotely, and where you're located is not long enough? I'm going to demonstrate that right now. First, I need to show if you have enough space and you're in the right area or the right room or the right part of wherever you are. And they do make Ethernet cords shorter than this, just to let you know. This is an example of what the end of it would look like, or the beginning of it would look like, just to show quickly. When you are in a situation where you need to be wired, you first will need to plug this part of the Ethernet cord in on the back of your modem or your router. In this case, there are a good number of slots, so I can fit it pretty much anywhere I want to. So this is where this part of the Ethernet cord will go. And when you need to plug it into your laptop, you have to look for the slot that has the same shape as the other end of your Ethernet cord. On this particular laptop, it is right here. They put it in different areas of laptops or devices, just so you know. It may not necessarily be on this end, depending on the manufacturer of the laptops or even desktops. It could be here, it could be on the other side. I've seen, there aren't too many, but I've seen a few that were like, oh wait, this is the front, my apologies. But I have seen some where it was in the front, and there are a few I've seen where it was on the back. But in this case, it is right here. You would take the other end of your Ethernet cord, you would put it in until you hear a click, and you have to make sure you put it in correctly. I don't know if you're able to hear that click, but you would make sure it's in until it clicks. And this would be an example of hardwired or wired that you will need to have. Or if there are problems with your internet and you need to make sure that you're wired, or broadband. I don't know how many remember that term, but this was the early days of broadband right here. To take it out, the lever that you see, carefully do this because you don't want this to break. Push down on what's holding the Ethernet cord up and simply take it out, like so. And then you do the same thing from the back of your modem. Now, if you are in a situation in which you are in another area and the cord is not long enough, you would need what's called a connector. So you're able to connect two Ethernet cords and hook it up wherever you are and then be able to perform your task. What you would do is, again, hook one of the Ethernet cords to the back of the modem or the back of the router. Some people say modem, some people say router. To one of the slots. Then that same Ethernet cord, you're going to hook up to one end of the Ethernet connector. And again, connecting until you hear a click. That is your one Ethernet cord. Your other Ethernet cord, take one end of that and you connect that end to the other side of your Ethernet connector until you hear a click. Then the other side of this Ethernet cord, you're going to connect to your laptop. Let me bring this up. It's on the other side. To where the Ethernet, where it connects to right here. Make sure you see how it's connected. And then you, I'm going to say plug it in until you hear a click. Okay. Then you're going to take your laptop, or if your laptop is already where it needs to be, and then you're going to go where you need to go in order to perform your task. So I wanted to show that. A couple more things and then I will be done. I want to demonstrate again another example. Noise cancellation. More personal use. This wouldn't necessarily be something of a work at home type of thing. This would be more of your personal time. Now, some people do use these for work at home, but it won't. You'll be fighting to hear what you need to hear with this. Let me take this out for a moment. Let's see, make sure I have it on the correct side. It's likely true, but you want to be able to hear if you are in a working or performing task mode or performing contract mode for your business. Not this. This is more personal, relaxed time. My suggestion, professionally. It's up to you again. That's an example of that. And let me show quickly where you do not, or where you cannot put your Ethernet cord. Give me one moment. Depending on your work at home or work from home remote situation, you may be able to use a tablet similar to this. This is one with, you can detach it from the keyboard. But if it's not part of the requirements, then this will not be useful. Depending on the task that you have to do, it's probably useful. I'm going to unplug this part of the Ethernet cord. And if you need to be hardwired or wired, as you can see, there isn't anywhere that you can be hardwired, nor anywhere where you can plug in your thumb drive or your jump drive. So, depending on what you are doing, make sure you have the necessary equipment to do what you need to do. Let me show one more real quick. You may be in. Hello, Shantae. Great to see you. Thanks for joining. You may have to, depending on the tasks that you have to do for your work at home or for your business. I need to loosen this tripod. Take it down. This is an example of a multifunctional printer right here. Let me quickly take this off so you can see what I mean by multifunctional. So for this particular multifunctional printer right here, you can do your printing. You can also do faxing. You can, make copies if you need to make black and white or color copies. And then, as you can see, what's called a paper feeder, you can place paper in there or in the designated paper slots. And in putting this down, if you need to scan anything, this one has a scanner right here. I don't know if you're able to see it carefully, or clearly I should say. Let me try to bring some light to it. But that's an example, again, of a multifunctional printer. Am I going to need all of this if I'm working from home or remotely? I'm going to say yes. Because, number one, it's going to depend on your industry. Number two is going to depend on the requirements. And number three, for many of us small business owners, going after bids, going after contracts, even if they're, contracts short-term or long-term, the bid requirements or the grant requirements or what you're contracted to do requirements, you may need these. You have to at least minimum have your laptop. This one is in maintenance mode again, so I can't necessarily show this one. You're going to need this. So your laptop, and make sure it meets the necessary requirements. I would say these days, no less than 500 gigabyte hard drive, or 5G. 5GB, excuse me. Well, I've seen some like for 32 and 128 and no. Now, it depends on your industry. If you're able to, then fine. Depends on what you have to do. If you're able to, then fine. But other than that, no. Your internet plan, a lot of requirements now. Your internet plan will have to list the upload speeds and the download speeds. Upload, you are uploading a file, pictures, videos from your laptop to wherever it needs to go. If you're downloading, you're getting information, files, pictures, videos, audios from wherever that source is to your laptop, to your smartphone, to your tablet, iPod, to your, oh, here it is. To your jump drive or thumb drive. So again, uploading, downloading. Do they meet the upload and download speeds required? Check your internet service provider for that information. You need to check that. I'm not going to go into detail as far as software programs in your laptop or your desktop or your tablet if you're able to use them, but do you meet the software requirements? That's the third thing. First thing, do you have the necessary equipment as far as your laptop or desktop? Or if you're able to use your tablet. Secondly, your internet service plan doesn't meet the requirements. Third, whatever software you have installed, does that meet or do those, the software programs, installed in your laptop, desktop, or tablet, do they meet the requirements or not? 4, if the requirement is where you have to be hardwired, then, let me put this down, then your Ethernet port. Finally, let me come around here. Do you have your printer? You're definitely going to need that. That's just basics overall as far as work at home or work from home. Other things here, such as a headset or a headphone, noise canceling, are if you need them for the task that you're performing, if it's listed. If it's not listed, that is something that you do not need to be concerned about. You have to think of your area, of your surroundings, and you also have to keep in mind, as far as noise cancellation, not only from a device, but your surroundings as well. A lot of times, and I'm seeing a lot of descriptions, and also in not too many bids or contracts, but a few I've seen, where there isn't to be any noise whatsoever, which many people are finding a challenge. If you're finding this a challenge, what will help is to let them know that it is part of my job requirement if you are in an employee situation. It is part of my job requirement that where I do the work needs to be quiet. In some work at home situations or work from home situations, you can be chatting where you're using your laptop to communicate, and the noise won't necessarily matter as long as it's not distracting for you. With everything in mind and with all said, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I greatly appreciate you. Please make sure you share this video. If you know people who are in this situation, they can call me, 419-304-4564. If they can't call, they can text to me, the same number, 419-304-4564. Reach me, YCN as in Nancy, OTLLC05 on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Pinterest. That's one of the other social media outlets used. The YCN OTLLC 05 online computers and accessories store. The link is in the description. Individually, what was shown, you can buy products from the online computer accessory store, and each individual link to what I showed will be listed on the company's YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe to that, and those will be posted later this afternoon, later this evening, just to let you know. So, Amber Hawkins, your computer needs at Toledo LLC, celebrating year number 15 of computer training more that comes to you. Everyone take care. Thank you very much. Make it a great day, a great afternoon, a great evening, a great night, and all.